This is Bill Lee with KRS Property Management. We're here in Virginia. We service Northern Virginia, Tidewater, Richmond, and all the surrounding counties. And one of the most common questions we get is, hey, I'm in Northern Virginia, maybe Woodbridge, Tyson Corner. How do I screen for my tenants? So let's assume in this scenario, you already had 100 leads come in and you're overwhelmed with inquiries for your home in Woodbridge. Well, that's a great problem to have. A lot of people nowadays in 2024 are struggling with leads and finding the right tenant. So if you're getting 100 leads, that's not a bad start. The next step is how to screen for tenants. So typically what we recommend is starting out with pre-screening questions. For the sake of the tenant, you want to make sure that you save them some money. The application nowadays is anywhere between $45 to $65 depending on who you use. So asking pre-screening questions will help you save a lot of time, but also would help the tenant save some money. If you think about at $50 a piece for a family of 4, that's almost $200 that someone is spending on just applications alone. So what kind of pre-screening questions makes the most sense? Most common question is, hey, what's your credit? A lot of people have apps like Credit Karma. If you bank with any of the online banks like Wells Fargo, Capital One, most of those banks will have some sort of credit reporting capability within the app. And so that would give you an approximation of where they're standing in terms of credit report. Obviously, it's not going to be an exact match, but again, what we typically see is there's a very close correlation or very close between what someone has on their Credit Karma and what's on their credit report. The other thing asked for is, hey, have you ever been evicted? Have you ever had to declare bankruptcy? Any of those sort of things will go a long way in helping you screen out tenants that are just not a great fit. The last question to ask is, how much do you make a month? Typically in our guidelines, we usually ask that most tenants have a minimum of 3 times the monthly rent. So just in layman's term, if the rent's $2,000, that individual or the collective group, whether it's roommates or a family that is contributing to the income, should make about $6,000. So all in, that's kind of what our pre-screening questions would look like. That should help you weed through a lot of the tire kickers or people who aren't serious and only leave you with people that are committed, that's willing to move on to the next step. So now that you got pre-screened, you got a much smaller pool of tenant, what's next? You want to use an application of some kind to help you screen through, pull the criminal reports, and help you thoroughly vet that tenant. The application system we use does not have a consumer-based product that anyone could just use, but Zillow does offer a application tool that you can use as just a one-off landlord. It is not as sophisticated as something that a larger company like our size would use, but it does get the job done. Our recommendation is that you go ahead and pay for the highest tier, make sure that you're getting the full transparency, the full credit report, criminal eviction, the whole 9 yards. And again, that should tell you they should have a very clean record, that they're not on the sex offense list, that there's no major violent crimes like battery or assault or anything like that, grand larceny. Those are things that if they're on the credit report that I would recommend to avoid. But beyond the credit report, which a lot of people are more well aware of, there's the aspect of vetting the documents that are submitted. So typically we recommend that tenants would submit a bank statement and pay stubs along with their application. And those companies like Zillow don't really vet the bank statements and pay stubs. And so as you're going through this, you're verifying the ID, the bank statements and pay stubs. Make sure to watch out for anything that would seem suspicious. If someone, let's say, works for Amazon and they have on their letterhead, it's just Amazon spelled out and then there's no logo or anything, that would seem a little bit suspicious. Something like that will warrant, at least a call to their manager saying, hey, do they actually work at Amazon? And just kind of do a little bit of digging and make sure that they have income, whatever they're claiming, but also verify that income and make sure that's correct. Beyond that, once you're through the screening, you make sure that all the documents are right and that, whatever they take home is actually whatever that's reported, you're now good to go and you're ready to proceed with the lease. The lease can be pulled from online. That's kind of the bare minimum. But of course, if you ever need clarification on that, we're about to release a video on things to add to your lease if you don't already have them in there. And so that's something for you guys to check out next time. As always, if you need help at your property here in Northern Virginia or even anywhere in the Virginia area, please feel free to reach out to us. It's at krsholdings.com, and we'll be happy to help you, even if it's just, hey, what do you think I can get for my rent? We'll be more than happy to get you that number. Have a great one.